Hello and welcome to the ProTips video series designed to arm biology learners with background knowledge needed to succeed during upcoming lessons. I'm Professor Megan Workman, and along with my colleague Dr. Shanna Wells, we decided to create this series in 2022 after noticing a widening gap in the level of preparation demonstrated among our lower division college students. We attributed this to pandemic-related disruptions in education, which in my classroom seem to affect a lot of learners. I teach at a community college in Arizona, and I frequently hear comments like these. I'm bad at math, or students frequently tell me that this is the last class they were required to take before transferring to university because they've put off taking science because they feel that they've always been bad at it and they have dreaded taking a science class. So I hear this so frequently that I believe science-related distress is rather common. And in biology classes, this can be related to a lack of confidence in math skills like graphing or algebra, which we employ a lot while studying living things, especially during laboratory activities. And research agrees with my personal experiences as an educator that student self-criticism does not actually match student capacity to learn. So these harsh self-critical judgments just simply are not useful because we're all here to learn, and if you already knew this stuff, I'd be out of a job. So it's important to keep in mind that no one arrives to class perfectly prepared. While variation in level of prior preparation is expected, it does seem to impact academic outcomes. And that makes sense. If an activity requires using algebra skills or relies on an understanding of how oxygen and hydrogen bond to form water molecules, then students who recently succeeded in chemistry, in this instance, they already have that foundation to build from and are at an advantage over students who haven't taken chemistry or don't remember some of the details. That's to be expected. So what we're trying to do with this video series is provide some background information to practice before coming to class so you can more meaningfully engage with the biology concepts. You'll know what your instructor is talking about. It's an optional tool if you realize that you might benefit from some brushing up. Providing this resource aligns with the mission of my institution, which is open access and does not require prerequisites for our 100-level biology classes. Open access is great, but it means quite reasonably that some students are going to need extra help while catching up on math or chemistry that they missed during the pandemic, or perhaps took over a decade ago. Lumping all students together, no matter their prior experiences, would be absurd if we didn't provide these extra resources. And this study I'm citing on the slide demonstrates that students on the lower end of prior preparation were likelier to drop, withdraw, or fail their lower division biology course. And I view this as a failure of the educational system, but who gets blamed? The students. What's worse, when the system fails to support learners in this way, students often internalize that blame and as a result mistakenly judge their own abilities to be inferior. And that is what we are trying to prevent by providing this tutorial series. Gaps in prior knowledge contribute to student misperception of their own abilities and level of intelligence as fixed. But in reality, abilities change, they're dynamic, and intelligence expands during practice. Nobody was born good at science. You get good at it by doing it. And at first, this often means a lot of failed attempts. That's just part of the process, and people like me are here to coach you through it. Consider this other statistic. In the United States, there is an interaction between race and the likelihood that a student will change majors out of a STEM major and into a non-STEM major following a bad grade early on in their college career, a bad grade on an introductory level STEM course. among students who all got the same bad grade. White and Asian American students are likeliest to remain in their major, despite this bad grade, while Black and Latinx students are likelier to switch out of STEM into a non-STEM field of study. And it's not completely understood why. What we do know is that early college performance, grades in these introductory classes, influences retention in STEM majors. One hypothesis is that due to historical and ongoing discrimination that have excluded certain people from STEM careers, the lack of visibility of STEM professionals who perhaps look like you may prevent you from feeling like that is a legitimate career choice for someone in your shoes. And so this hypothesis is that social conditioning related to a sense of belonging in STEM careers and in the STEM classroom in college can impact the likelihood that a student will persist in these majors. So here's another study. This one attempted to uncover reasons behind a switching of majors from a STEM field to a non-STEM field. The upper triplet of bars that you're looking at reflects students who remained in the STEM major, while the lower triplet of bars reflects students who left STEM. The blue, yellow, and red shading reflects interview responses that students shared that were coded into three categories. The student felt that they belonged in the STEM major, that's in blue. Students said they didn't feel like they belonged, that's in red. And then yellow was a mixture of these two subjective self-assessments. I belong, but I sort of don't belong at the same time. Represented in the red shading here, lack of a sense of belonging sounded like this, which is similar to things my own students have said. So this student reported, I enjoyed the classes in the major. I just did not enjoy the atmosphere. When I looked around, I saw all these people that I didn't fit in with, and I didn't feel comfortable there. Here's another student. My classmates seemed to have a lot of practical knowledge, and I didn't have all that knowledge, and I was trying to learn it. I think that was a struggle for me. Here's another student reporting a lack of sense of belonging in their STEM class. I feel out of place because I think some of the other STEM majors know more than I do, and I wonder how, because we've taken all the same classes. Now, if we return to the bars, it is clear from the red shading that students who left their STEM major were likelier to report feeling like they just didn't belong. And one more thing to notice is that these bars break down students into self-identified racial or ethnic categories. Non-Hispanic white students, Asian American students, and URM, which stands for underrepresented minority, which includes all students not in the other two categories. What stands out is the lack of belonging felt by students who eventually left STEM. Because these were all students who originally wanted to major in STEM, that was in their hearts. What made them feel like they didn't belong? And what can I do as a college professor to dismantle that? Is it possible that normal variation in prior preparation makes some students feel like they don't belong? This is what was on our minds when my colleague and I decided to create this video series. Our project aims to retain women and other minoritized learners in the STEM pipeline. This means that everyone who desires to be a STEM major should feel equally welcomed and encouraged to do so. This may involve dismantling some student self-doubt about belonging in STEM courses and programs of study, which can be achieved by improving early academic performance, helping students get better grades in introductory STEM courses like the ones I teach. To do that, our videos address gaps and common misconceptions in prior knowledge that will iron out some of the kinks of understanding before students go to class. Armed with this strengthened foundation, students will hopefully have a richer experience in class, feel less frustration, already know some of the jargon and be able to integrate more new knowledge with what you already know. Now that I've explained what we're trying to do, if you have any suggestions or concerns or questions, please feel encouraged to reach out. My email is listed here. It's mworkman@pima.edu. I've also listed here my colleague, Dr. Shanna Wells at UC Riverside. Our project was funded by Pima Community College in Tucson, Arizona, thanks to Pima CC. And for all the biology learners out there, I hope you find value in these videos. Good luck in your biology journeys.